Tonight, the story of a Fort Worth woman suffering from dementia who lost her home to a boarding home operator with a troubling history. Allegations of financial exploitation have sparked a court battle to reclaim her house. As senior investigative reporter Tanya Iser shows us, it's raising serious concerns about the state's ability to protect vulnerable seniors.
Diana Acox grew up in this Fort Worth house on Mariann's Meadow Drive. She inherited it from her parents. She didn't have children of her own, but cared for others' kids.
She was a nanny. She was nannying up to COVID. She was nannying twins.
She was diagnosed with dementia in 2021.
She was just really sweet and confused.
A doctor concluded Diana was mentally incapacitated and couldn't care for herself.
She got discharged to a group home, and that is run by Arlington.
The name Arika Hamilton is familiar to state regulators. The state sued her after repeatedly finding her operating unlicensed homes that should have been licensed as assisted living facilities. Two families also filed lawsuits alleging she neglected the care of their loved ones. And now there's questions in a court battle about how she came to own Diana's home. Advocates say the allegations here point to the state's failure to adequately protect the vulnerable from financial exploitation. Diana's house in Fort Worth sat vacant for 2 years while she lived in Arika Hamilton's unlicensed boarding home on Saddleback Road in Arlington. In 2022, Hamilton filed a suggestion of need, saying Diana was mentally incapacitated and needed a guardian. So that would indicate that she knew full well she wasn't competent.
Correct.
She also wrote, she is unable to pay for both her care and her mortgage. Hamilton checked a box describing herself as a friend. While that was still pending with the probate court, this document showed up in county records. An August 2023 deed showing Diana sold her Fort Worth house to Hamilton for a price of $120,000.
Diana did not know what she was signing. I do not know if she even knew how to read the contract.
Records show 13 days later, Hamilton put the same house up for sale for $225,000. By then, an attorney appointed by the probate judge was suspicious and blocked any future sales. The court began the process of appointing attorney Andrea Casanova as her guardian. Casanova went to see her at the boarding home.
The staff originally did not want to let us enter the home, even though we had a court order. I was able to visit with Diana for about maybe 10 minutes at the most, until they came back in and they wouldn't let me speak with her privately.
Court records say Diana gave Hamilton power of attorney over her property and finances. Casanova says she also found that Diana's Social Security check was going directly into Hamilton's bank account.
The day I was appointed guardian, I went ahead and did an emergency removal. You could see she didn't even understand that she was being taken advantage of. Her only asset that could actually pay for her care was taken away from her by a predator.
Casanova says Hamilton didn't even give Diana the proceeds from the sale of the house, almost $42,000. In February, Casanova filed suit alleging fraud. The lawsuit demanded the return of Diana's house and personal property. Around the same time, neighbors saw activity here at Diana's house. People were moving in.
Medical vans pulling up, old people getting wheeled out, old people getting wheeled in.
Neighbor Derek Moon.
There's just a lot of movement. Cars pulling up, dropping patients off, picking patients up.
Neighbors told Casanova it appeared Hamilton was turning the house into a boarding home.
They were the ones who raised the alarm to me that, hey, someone's moving in. Hey, there are people around.
Casanova sought a temporary injunction and Hamilton agreed to move the tenants out. What does Arika Hamilton say?
She denies everything. She denies that this was financial exploitation of an elderly person.
Arika? We also reached Hamilton by phone. But I wanted to talk to you about Diana Acox. She didn't want to talk to us. There are similar questions in an unrelated case involving another boarding home operator named Regla Becaire. She's currently under criminal indictment on a murder charge in the overdose death of a client who was in one of her homes. Records show she and her family gained control of homes, cars, and accounts of several clients staying in her boarding homes.
They really are a perfect victim. They can't remember what they said, what they did. They're completely reliant on these people.
This past October marked 3 years since Diana lived there. Hamilton still legally owns the home.
That's sad because that's all she had.
Casanova reported the fraud allegation to the Arlington Police Department. Police say they've opened a case and they're investigating.
This is a community issue. It could happen to any one of us, any one of our families, any one of our grandparents.
Diana now lives in a memory care unit in Tarrant-County. How is her care being paid for?
Right now, she's on Medicaid, but the facility cost is higher than what she can pay.
Does she understand what happened to her?
Not really, no.
Meanwhile, Diana's former house on Mary Ann's Meadow remains in legal limbo and sits empty. In Tarrant County, I'm Tanya Iser.